Another organization that really developed their principles from the beginning of the organization is Gore. Okay. Gore and his wife, when they formed the organization around the Gore-Tex fabric, they really built a strong culture of individuals working together. They use a traditional hierarchy, but they offset the control and the rigidness of that through the culture itself and how people were to work. And they did that through a series of principles. And this is a good learning point in that principles can drive the behavior of the organization, even if the hierarchy might otherwise fight that through control. One of the principles that Gore uses is freedom, and that's actually the word that they use. It's the trust between people and the ability to freely network with others. In this case, it's almost like the Cotter dual system in that you have a traditional hierarchy, but there is freedom to network with anyone across the organization that you feel would be beneficial to you and your part of the organization. They've basically taken that part of the Cotter's dual system and they've operationalized it without the formalization of charters. They just let people do it. This is also built on a principle of fairness and the attitude toward others, which gets to the people point of view that Gore's brought to the organization. A third principle is commitment. Do what you promise. And again, to an extent that when you go to decentralization and you start to take away control, personal accountability starts to play more of a role. And that if you don't do what you promise, that starts to break down the relationships that are essential for a network to operate. Gore also has a principle that they call the waterline, which is very interesting in that it comes right out of effectuation of taking risks that are affordable, in which case it's not a risk management, but it's a consultation with others, an estimate of the risk, and if the decision were wrong, can you afford the risk? And if you can afford the risk, then like an entrepreneurial operation, you move forward with that and basically keep growing and you grow fast. So again, it's a shift from a traditional way of thinking about risk management to an effectuation thinking about taking risks that are affordable. It does come with a few limitations, not many. One is that it's mainly focused on the operation side and is kind of generalized across the rest of the organization for the staff and the top governance. And it does have an informal approach to networking. In this way, again, it is a better improvement on Cotter's dual system, but at the same time, things could be overlooked because there's no network weaving. People are making up the network structure as it occurs to them. There's no purposeful thinking about what network connections are needed. And while it is a good operating system, it doesn't really give much guidance on accelerating change because, again, the Gores designed their principles not for accelerating change or change. They designed it around how to manage the company, and it does very well from that perspective.